Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classic, non-classic. This episode number 2554 and Doubleshot number 2448. First up, we have the end of an era for one particular writer's run on this particular book. Well, and plus also this book and the whole book basically feature characters who are Avengers. And both characters were creations of the late Stan the Man Lee and Jack the King Kirby. We have The Black Panther by John Ridley, Volume 3, All This and the World 2. Yeah, this is the end of his run, his 1-year run he had in the title, which I'll talk about my final thoughts on this run and how it started, which was kind of odd. I'll get to that. So, mostly put in the case of this particular book, this book collected issues 11 to, I think it was like 15. Yeah, 11, 15 of the run. This is from Black Panther, I believe. I'm trying to remember this quickly. I think this is volume 8, I believe it is. Yes, I believe it's volume 8. So, mostly put, you have a group of people just attacking other people, and then, well, and this is something I didn't like when I was reading this again. We have, apparently, the idiot in the White House, basically, in the book. I call him the idiot because that's what he is. I'm not referring to him. The idiot is Joe Biden. Yeah, he's in this book. Yeah, but at least he's, well, written better than the real-life guy. The real-life guy apparently suffers from dementia, where at one point he got lost in the rose garden. I am not kidding about that. I am not going to discuss anything further about Joe Biden because I don't care about him at all. Nope. Because the way he got elected was really stupid. Moving on. Yeah, he's here for like one page. So then we have this army. The army is attacking, and of course the Avengers are questioning about the fact that say Wisconsin was attacked by these terrorists. And Black Panther is in his sling. He's in his sling the whole book. And the way that this book is structured, it's set still during Jason Aaron's run. But from what I can tell, this is before the events of Avengers Assemble because they still have Avengers Mountain. Yep, they still have it. Do they have it currently? No. When the run ended, they decided to stop using it. I believe they're headquartered on Project Pegasus. I believe so. I did see the first trade of the current run out. I did not get it today because basically, for some reason, paperback book, and it costs $25 for the damn thing. And you're thinking, really? $25 for a trade paperback? Usually you see that for a hardcover, not a paperback. Marvel does sometimes with some books. I don't know why. It's weird. I mean, how many issues does it contain? 6, but for a comic day issue. That's it. Normally, a single costs like $17 or $19.99, but about $25. I'm like, I'll take on next time. So mostly they recognize basically like, so basically the Avengers that are seeing this book, just Cap, Thor, and Captain Marvel. At least 3 out of 40 people are basically Stanley, basically Jack Kirby characters. Carol Danvers is not. Nope. No, Stanley did create the original Captain Marvel. Carol, he didn't. Carol is a creation of Roy Thomas. So basically, it was revealed in the previous trade that T'Challa gave up his position as King of Wakanda. Again, this is by far like the third time this has happened, where he's given the throne up. Though later on he gets the throne back for some reason. Though I was reading the synopsis of the next one, he still is off the throne. He's not the king anymore. So basically, mostly put basically like they just investigate. They go after the terrorists that are causing all the stuff happening throughout this book. So, and after some investigating, like, some authority, and of course, T'Challa being the chairman of the Avengers, and speaking about, so, someone called him Wakanda, and of course, then he goes to base, and it turns out that the guy is Jahi, who was killed in the previous volume of the series. Yeah, and here he is, alive and well. Yeah, and T'Challa's like, I saw your body. How the heck are you alive? Somehow he faked his death. And so here's the thing. Apparently the reason why he started all this was sort of it's like John Ridley is trying to do sort of a semi-continuation of the previous Raiders, or the whole thing of the intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, which T'Challa's like, the whole thing with that, it's like, so he smacks the guy and gets a brawl with him, and then we have this one guy who just turns on them randomly, who apparently is a minor. So then basically serves the king, even though he's not the king anymore. Also, I just noticed, though, basically they show the outside of the Avengers Mountain, that the hand is missing from the dead Celestial. Yeah, but this is still set during the run. So Steve basically is questioning T'Challa about the whole beating thing, like he was the king, can be trusted. Yeah, and of course then we have where T'Challa talks to her. A lot of the book basically he doesn't do much fighting because he's in a sling. And also Shara is in the outfit from her Bree Solo series. Yeah, she still is wearing this outfit. And then Black Panther goes to Krakoa, where he talks to Gateway. Yes. A character who was seen in the previous line for the series, too. Now, I should point something interesting about Gateway. Gateway is a creation, this teleporter, I believe is a creation of Jonathan Hickman. Because I remember basically, I think because this is basically Gateway, where apparently he's exiled. It's like his excuse is the reason why he's booked because he's black. Yes, that's why I think the reason why the writer put in this book because he's black, and so he has to basically associate with T'Challa for reasons. I believe here he's referred to as gentle. Oh, no, this actually is not a Hickman character. This is a character who was created by Craig Kyle, Christopher Yost, Mark Brooks, and Paul Pelletier. Yeah. And also, okay, so another reason why, because he's here, because he's from Wakanda. Yep. And after this book, sadly, this character does not show up again after this book wraps up. Yeah, he shows up in the penultimate issue, but he doesn't show up after this for reasons. And he gets more weird for this book. So he agrees to help and contacts a guy called Buffalo Soldier, basically form his own group to deal with, well, what are terrorists? Of course, he goes sling and puts his mask back on, which is point is still nanotech. Yep, that was something that Brian Sturflees came up with. Yep, that the debut of this particular style costume was back in 2015. I have actually asked him about this costume appearing in the MCU. He was actually quite happy it appeared in the MCU. As a matter of fact, it made its debut in the first Black Panther movie. Yep. Yeah, he was very happy the suit appeared on screen. One of like two recent suits that appeared in the MCU. The other was the De Marquez suit from the Bendis run. That also appeared in the movies as well. So then we have it where Jahi. Now, you're probably thinking, is he like a creation of the previous writer for the book? No, he is a creation of this series, per se. Yes. But he apparently is a former lover of Ominola. Also a character from this run. Yes, and he's only here just for this run. After this, well, it's weird though the fact that the writer referenced Intergalactic Empire Wakanda, which I'll get to more of that soon. Don't worry about that. So they prepare for all-out attack, and of course, Black Panther leaves his team, and of course the Avengers try to stop him. Though they end up they end up fighting him, and then Namor shows up. Yes, because Namor was a member of the Avengers at this point in time. Yep, he's here. And Atlantis on your side. Yeah, and you're thinking, wait, Atlantis and Wakanda are enemies. How is this possible? Well, it's real the Prime Minister formed a treaty with him. I am not kidding about this. Oh, they're also in Japan. Yes, now, some of you might be asking, wait a minute, isn't Wakanda a monarchy? Not necessarily anymore. Well, they actually have a version of parliament there, and they have elected officials now. This was something set up by the previous writer of the series, so excuse me, this is something in continuation of that. And the Prime Minister tells him to stand down. And also because he dare attack Namor, he is banished from Wakanda. Like, Namor, do not hatred be blind you to Namor. He cannot be trusted now. As opposed to you, your people trust you. Rise to control the world. Yep. And then, of course, Cap points out something. You haven't treated Atlantis, but Namor is Avenger. We have something to say about this full side. Yeah, actually, you don't. The Avengers are a team. We are a sovereign nation. You are welcome to join the fight. Do so under the flag of Wakanda. So you have to dispatch displaced Atlanteans. Yeah, I'm like, the way that this Prime Minister is written, it's like, she is so arrogant, like, oh, haha, I am the leader. I don't know if John Ridley wrote this one, like, it's like she's written to be a complete jerk for no reason. So yeah, they have no choice but to work together. So, yep. So they fight the group, and then, of course, the main villain of the group is killed by Black Panther himself in the final issue of this book. They have their brawl, they win, and then, of course, because, well, the Prime Minister acts like a complete jerk of all of it. So, thanks to the treaty, and thanks, of course, well, then we have various people, like, break up the team, and, of course, Namor leaves, and then, of course, supposedly, Black Panther leaves the country, but it's then revealed next time he actually did not leave the country, but he is no longer king. So yeah, permanent. And they walk off, and that's the volume. Yes, pretty okay conclusion to this run. Not terrible. Probably by far the best thing about this particular run was the cover artwork by Alex Ross. Yes. Final thoughts on this run. This run, from what I've heard, was not talked about at all. Just like no one bothered at all. I think Marvel just barely promoted this book when it came out. And here's the weird thing. Like, the book concluded. I should point out, though, when, of course, this book concluded in... I mean... You see, when this book started, it was in November of 2021. The previous volume for the series... Come on, thank you. Had actually ended in May. And you're thinking, really? Yes, really. Ended in May. So, for the next relaunch, I mean, people knew what's happening. We had to wait 6 months for a relaunch. And after a year, the writer just gave up. And then we have another relaunch. At least this one didn't last very long. Like, some might think, okay, how long do you have to wait for the conclusion of this run? By the way, the final issue came out in March of last year. And when the next time started, instead of waiting 6 months, it's only 3. Better. Excuse me. And of course, Eve Ewing is the writer for the book. Excuse me. I do appreciate, though, that the writer himself, John Ridley, was trying to continue some of the stuff established by Tai Nokotis. I do appreciate that all because his run was really good. I love his run. But it felt as though basically some of the run basically felt very much like it was good. I think probably far the worst character the whole run is the Prime Minister. It's like, yeah, let's write her that way because she's a woman. And because she's a rival to him. Oh, because she's a woman. Yeah. And some of you might be thinking, like, did she appear again after this book wrapped up? Yes, she did. As a matter of fact, she showed up for an issue of the most of the current volume of Wolverine. Yep. It's a one-off appearance, and also appearing in a couple issues of Symbol of Truth, and that was it for her. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing, basically, like, some of the characters remain here. But here's the weird thing, though. When the book got relaunched, it's like, we gotta have fresh new characters for this book. Yeah, let's just basically just not... It's like basically Eve Ewing was trying to distance herself from the previous volume. That's how I felt about it. But I'll talk more about that volume when I talk about the first two, which I think it today. Alright. Next up is Hawkeye Epic Collection, Volume 2, Way of the Arrow. This book collects the first, basically, Soul Avengers 1 to 20 and Marvel Avengers Spotlight number 21. And by the way, this collects the entire issue, not just the Hawkeye stories. Oh no, they collect the whole thing. Your writing here for the issue is done by Tom DeFalco, Roger Stern, Howard Mankey, Peter Begals, Dennis Malone, Dan Miski, Bob Layton, Booch Gooch, Mike Derry Burr, Jay Matias, D.G. Chester, Murray Clark, Ralph Macchio, Gregory White, Delayed William McDuffie, Chris Claremont, Finn Caesar, Danny Figueroff, Sandy Pudick. Artwork, Mark Bright, Rob Lem, Mooch Goose, Al Milgram, Ron Wilson, James Brooke, Jim Lee, Curran Doyer, Bob Hall, Paul Ryan, John Ridley, Tom Greenberg, Larry Alexander, June Bergerman, Lee Weeks, Bob Layton, Amanda Connor, Alan Davis, Tom Morgan, Don Perlin, Donnie Cockrum, Sam Booth, and Tom Artis. Wow, that's a lot of creators. The front cover is basically done by Booch Goose, Bob Layton. The back cover is Mark Wright and Jeff Robinson. Yeah. Of the writers of this book, I have met officially one. The only one I have met is Bob Layton for the artist. I have only met a lot of people, Amanda Connor. Yeah, in each of the issues, basically, like, it's like this book is supposed to be a Hawkeye series, just an anthology book, and Hawkeye is all the opening stories. And the first story features basically a Hawkeye and Mockingbird story, and the second story picks up right where the first story leaves off. Yeah, it's basically, think of it as the off-screen adventures of Hawkeye when he's not in the main book. And they threw the Mockingbird story in here because why not? It's a story for her, and then the second issue, which I've kind of talked about the backup story already, it's basically it's basically a Monica Rambeau one. Also, for some reason, the cover is a partial homage to, like, the Hawkeye one. It's partially based upon the Incredible Hulk #1. Yes. Now, mostly put, basically, the first two issues deal with basically a debut of a brand new character who is currently deceased, currently in the comics. A character by the name of Trickshot. Yes. He's an original character for this very book. Yes. And he's here for a quick story arc. Mostly put, he's also a mentor to Hawkeye. He's here for mostly put the first 5 issues of this book. He would sadly get killed off in the opening issue of Hawkeye Blind Spot. He would miss one issue. Second issue, mostly put just exploring Hawkeye's backstory. The third issue, the backup story I discussed already, the Moon Epic Collection. It's mostly Hawkeye take on Patrick's Brigade. The fourth issue is basically Hawkeye and Silver Sable take on Rogue, Wildpack, and Trickshot. And then we have where Black Knight takes on the alleged descendant of his, who appears with one issue. Yep. Issue 5 is Hawkeye taking on Trickshot finally. And a backup story for the Scarlet Witch, taking on a version of Death. Issue 6, it's Hawkeye fighting against the Red Skull. But the communist Red Skull. Yep. And then you have Falcon taking on someone called Scatterbrain. Yes, this insane guy who's only appeared for this one issue. Issue 7. Now, the backup story, I kind of discussed this already. I think I discussed it in the Black Widow collection, so I'm not going to discuss it here. It's most of the Hawkeye team with Silver Sable and Sandman take on basically a mercenary group. Mockingbird is not here. And then we have a quick few issue story arc where basically Hawkeye deals with a character known as Blind Justice. Yeah. Which you would think is his first appearance. Not really. He actually first appeared in Marvel Comics #1. Yeah, it's most kind of work on. He's only here for basically just issues 8 and 9. Hawkeye tries to find out basically, well, apparently his real name is Bedrone Hamilton. He tries to find out who he is, but he gets killed off the very next issue. And then you have Doctor take on Dr. Nemesis. Yep. A character who Hank Pym first fought in Marvel Feature. Yes, he was a recurring villain in that book. And then, right after this one issue, he next appeared in a feature for Marvel Comics Presents. And they returned a couple issues in Spider-Man. That sadly was it for him. Interesting to give him one. Take a Speedo and Zipper. Well, of course, Hawkeye deals with basically the Shroud. Yes. Then we have a Hellcat story. Or it takes his husband Buzz. And her previous appearance. How the hell was that? I heard that was Defender, so I'm looking up to see exactly what was their previous appearance part of this one issue here. Take a bit of a while because she had like 2 solo books back in the 50s. Okay, here we go. So, she actually previously appeared in the issue of West Coast Avengers. Mm-hmm. And then issue 10, where you have Hawkeye taking on a one-shot bill, basically team with this guy called Seymour the All-Seeing Astrologer. And then you have basically Dr. Drew's story. Issue 11, Hawkeye takes on Bobcat, a guy called Bobcat, and Winston J. Kerpoff. And you have a Hercules story where he takes on Butch T. Washington. Okay. Issue 12, Texan Abomination. While Yellow Jacket, Rita Moria, takes on the Fixer. There's also a thing Fixer's got a thing for her, but doesn't really go anywhere. 13, mostly put it's a Wonder Man story and a Hawkeye one. Yep. 14, Hawkeye teams the Black Widow and Mockingbird to take on some AIM agents. The backup story is a She-Hulk story where She-Hulk takes on Titania, her arch nemesis. 15, deals more with AIM, and of course the WAP story deals with Red Ronin. 16, Moondragon. Was also the first appearance of her sister, Pamela Douglas, aka Sundragon. Yep, this is her debut. Actually, it's her cousin. I thought it was sister. My mistake. Or I take on nobody. Just basically just a story from Moondragon. 17. Hawkeye teams up, takes on Mad Menace and Agent 5 and Dr. Octopus. Well, takes them on with the Sandman. And of course, there's an Namor story taking on Goldbug. Yes, freaking Goldbug. 18 features another Pamela Douglas story, called Moondragon. While Hawkeye teams up with Twix's secretary looking for Shooting Star, who would turn him alien for some reason. 19. Takes on Orb and Plant Man. Even breaks his helmet. There's even a Black Panther backup story. 20. The last issue of this book called this before they changed it to Spotlight. Teams of the Orb take on the Plant Man. And then you have Sundragon have her first identity change. And then finally, 21. Great card, by the way. Deals with the death of the Orb. And deals with Star Fox. Now, his next appearance will not be until... Let's see. Now, the Orb, prior to this particular set of issues for Still Avengers, he actually last appeared back in Ghost Rider 63. His next appearance will not be until Deadline number 2, which released in 2002. Yes, roughly 13 years later. Yep. But still, pretty good books altogether. Yeah. I like the Hawkeye stories. I think they're really good. Excuse me. There is a fourth volume for this, but I haven't got a chance to get to it yet, so I'll get to it soon. But this book, really fun. Give this book a 10 out of 10. Okay, so I'm going to end it here because it's getting almost late. It's like almost midnight, so I figured I'll just end it here. So tomorrow, you'll get a videos tomorrow. Basically, One Piece, Spy X Family, My Hero Academia manga, finally, and Space Shuttle Shipment, okay?